What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Goated Trades, and I'm back with a Straw Hat Trading channel. And we are back with another S&P, Nasdaq 100, all that good index, juicy content analysis, weekly analysis for the week, just so you guys prepare for the week ahead. And boy, let me tell you, this will be one of my most important videos of the month within March. Okay, just want to put out there that we ended the monthly chart last week on Friday, because how we closed last week was a very telling sign of how this week will go, and not just this week but this month. Okay, now last week, I just want to kind of re-jog your memory if you watched the video last week. If you haven't, you can. It doesn't really matter because I'm gonna go over everything this week. Right, I basically told you guys that this month, right, that this run up has reminded me of last year, July 2023, and I'm gonna tell you why it reminded me of it and what's going on to where I think this same pattern is going on, the exact same thing. Okay, I'm gonna go over it and I'm gonna explain, just like how the title presents itself. I believe that I found the day that we are gonna see the start of our correction, where we're gonna see sell-offs across the board. Now, I know that's a very bold statement, and I have my reasons to why I think this is the case. Now, this is just an opinion, and this is just my analysis to that opinion. I could be wrong, and if I am, okay. If I'm not, then I'm not going to say I told you so, but I'm just going to say, hey, let's make some money, okay? Anyways, let's get started. I know I did a little bit of ramble to start this video, but I got to let y'all know, okay? But let's get started with the video, okay? This week was pretty eventful, to say the least, and that only came on through Friday. Thursday was a little bit better, but I kind of told you guys last week that we're going to start the beginning of the week with a sell, which we did. Across the board, we started seeing sellers step in the market throughout the whole week, except on Friday, we seen them actually get aggressive, buyers get aggressive and buy you right back up. Not only into all-time highs, but breaking and holding above all-time highs. Now, is this a bullish sign? Yes, we are super bullish in the market. I'm not going to deny that we are super bullish. Last week we were super bullish. We are very last week we were super bullish. Last month we were super bullish. The last 6 months we were super bullish. And that's just what it is. However, is this the top? And I'm going to explain everything. But as we can see throughout the S&P 500 heat map, there are a lot of pockets of green, and it's very noted to say that even defensives, yes, some of defensive like energy looking pretty good. However, you have utilities, health services, and non-durables kind of looking bad. And more risky or growth names, of course, like technology, finances looking decent. You got manufacturing looking pretty good. And just consumer durables, you look decent overall in terms of like the whole breadth of the market. You look pretty decent. Now, is there really any signs of like if we're going to be selling? Not really. There's just a lot of rotation. There's just constant rotation throughout the market, and there's no real signs right now, at least right now, from last week's price action. So that's all I could really say about the heat map. Next, we have some major economic reports and Fed speakers this week. Now, the only real dates that you guys have to really pay attention to is going to be Wednesday, because Fed Chair Jerome Powell testifies. That's going to be very important, and he's going to have day 2 on Thursday. So really, your Wednesday and Thursday are going to be very important. You also have data coming in on Thursday, initial jobless claims. That's going to be very important. And you have also consumer credit at 3 p.m. And on Friday, to end the week, non-farm payrolls. That's going to be very important. Well, not very, very important, but it's going to be decent. So this week's earnings pretty much won't really move the market as much, but there are some pretty decent names that I want to be watching. The first one, Target. I want to see how consumers are spending within this kind of inflationary period that we're seeing right now. If Target it actually looks pretty good, then I think Target will be a pretty good buy. If you want to own stock, I believe that Target will be pretty good. CrowdStrike, I believe CrowdStrike, when it comes down to like the cybersecurity names and all of the software names, CrowdStrike is very important. We already seen what happened with Palo Alto with their earnings and how they dumped. I believe that right now, and we also seen it across the board with other cybersecurity names that actually started guiding down and start getting major sells. So if CrowdStrike does the same thing, where even though they beat, which I think they will beat, if they guide down for next quarter, I believe that they're going to dump as well. And I do believe I see some softness within software right now. I do see softness, so maybe we might get another sell, but that's something to be looking out for. Next, you want to look at charge point. I mean, when it comes down to EV vehicles, I know EV vehicles been having a very tough time in this market right now. So charge point might be another one that may just sell off with this earnings. That's just me speculating. Broadcom is going to be a very important one. That's going to be on close Thursday. Broadcom, really, that's a very important name. That's a very, very important name, especially with the chips, right? Microchips, Broadcom, they do a lot of manufacturing and research. And if Broadcom is actually guiding down, I remember last earnings, they had a pretty decent earnings, but they really stayed flat throughout that earning report. It was pretty mixed. So if they either miss or they guide down, I do believe AVGO has a long way down to about 1,000. I think right now they're sitting about 1,400. So they have a long way down to 1,000. Or if they actually do beat and go crazy, I believe that they'll probably go up to 2,000. So I think Broadcom is going to be a pretty important stock to be watching as well. Now, the dollar and US yields, I don't want to spend too much time on these because, again, since last week I've been talking about it, we've just been going sideways. However, we stopped going down. We're just really just going sideways, maybe making a curling pattern on the DXY. And let me go ahead and show you what I mean, because a weekly chart's not really going to give it justice, right? So if I were to go to hourly, you'll see we broke out of this large channel that we've been following since when? We've been following since December, the end of December, this large channel. We end up breaking down out of it, and now we've just been going sideways, and we went sideways and we're starting to curl up. So we have a new channel that is forming. I'm not saying it's formed, but it's forming. So we may just keep on bouncing up until we get a Fed decision on FOMC. So that's going to be pretty important. But that's the action that I'm looking for. How would that guide the market? We're just going to have to see. I'm not too sure how the market is going to move on the dollar spiking, because even while the dollar's been spiking throughout this whole run, we've also been running up. So we have to see how it's going to actually play out for the NASDAQ and on the SPY. Same thing with yields. Yields broke down out of this channel, but you are in this falling wedge. Falling wedges are very bullish. They're not bearish. So basically how it works is you kind of bounce up, bounce down, bounce up, bounce down until you actually break out. If you actually break out of this pattern, then you find momentum back to the upside into your next resistance point. So here's your supply zone here from 4.3% to 4.3. 4.36 to 4.3%. If you break out of this zone right here, then you have room all the way up to like 4.5, 4.45 to about 4.5%. So that would be pretty important. So if you break, you might mount and break back up. Who knows? Something like that. So that's what I'm watching for yields. But if you actually keep breaking down and you keep making lower lows and lower highs, then you have room all the way down to 4%. And under 4%, you might just go to the gutter. Okay, this is the most important part of the video, and I might even just end the video right here. Like, when it comes down to everything else is everything else. Okay? And you know what? Let me cover everything else first, because we'll get to the best part last, right? So let's go over tech, right? So you got the big 7, big 8, whatever you want to call it, your big tech chart, super overbought. Like, this is, you've just been stair stepping for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 weeks in a row, going straight up. And I mean, you are above extremes here. Like, there's nothing to really do here. Like, there's really no main entry points that I could say, like, okay, this is where we can get active. Like, we can't really go long here. XOK, you just broke out over this range. You look decent. Maybe if you get a retest, if you get like here, let me go to the daily. If you get some type of retest because you broke out here, off this consolidation level, you broke out. So if you get some type of retest right here to this 208 level, maybe you could get active and try to play that bounce. But again, it's not something that you could swing or like hold. It'll be like something like scalping or just like a quick day trade. Same thing with QQQ. You've been respecting this channel since this whole run up, and you are like where resistance is. So you might need to get like some type of pullback to like 440 before you could get a bounce, and maybe you sell back down. Who knows? But I say all that to say this. Look, we are in resistances. Like, really, there's nothing that I could really just say, okay, we're going up right now. Like, we're already up. I'm not too sure what, at least from a top approach, we're already in blue skies right now. Like, it's hard to kind of get an entry point. An entry point will just be your previous highs, okay? So, same thing with chips. Chips are just, look, like, you're super extended outside of this channel here. You're super extended out both of these channels here. You know what I'm saying? That you've been respecting for how long? Like, we need a pullback here. Even if it's like some type of correction, we need it here. Like, we need it. There's no real entries here, okay? So I say all that to go back to the indexes, right? And I'm going to end the video with this analysis, right? Why do I think that we are going to sell very soon? Okay. Actually, I think, and just like how the video title announces, I think I know the exact date of when we're going to sell. Okay. Now you're probably looking at these three lines here like, what is this guy doing? Like, what's going on here, right? Okay. Before I explain to you what these three lines are, it's best if I go all the way back to last time we got a major sell, right? So I told you guys last week, and let me go ahead and zoom in. Let's do this. Let's do this. Let's put NQ and NQ right by each other, right? So right here on this side, we have NQ in the present time, right now. And on this side, we have NQ in the past, right? So I told you guys already that I believe that this run up reminds me of last year, right? Last year, June, July. What happened during June, July? Okay. June, we basically went all the way up to all-time highs. And then towards the back end of June to the beginning of July, we end up going sideways to down. And then we rally back up in July. And we sell off in mid-July, okay? Now, I believe the same exact thing is setting up right here, right now. At first, I didn't know if February, which was last month, was June or July, but now I know. February last month was June. Right now, we are in March, and March is actually July. Now, I know this is just speculation. You're like, bro, this guy just doesn't know what he's talking about, whatever. Maybe I don't. And being predictive and speculative is, very dangerous, especially when you're playing with money. And, you don't want to be too early because you're going to lose money. If you're early, you're wrong. But I believe that if I'm not right, I'm very much close, right? Boom. What happened in mid-June? Mid-June is right here. We made all-time highs. Let's go ahead and mark it out. Right here, mid-June. We made all-time highs right here. Let's do mid-February. Remember, February is June. Okay? Boom. We made all-time highs. Right? The very next day, what happened? We break all-time highs, and we end up selling off. Boom. What happened in February? We make all-time highs. We end up selling off. Boom. Okay. That's pretty... All right, I guess that's pretty similar, but that doesn't mean it's the same exact thing. Okay, boom. We go sideways. We go down, right? We go all the way down. We go down. We find support. Go down. Find support. Okay. So next, what happens? We rebalance, but we don't clear the highs, meaning we don't close above your all-time highs. Okay. What happens? You rebalance, but you don't close above your all-time highs, right? Okay. This is getting pretty similar, I guess, right? And when did this happen? This happens on the back end of June, right? Same thing. This happened on the back end of February, right? So then after this happens, what happened? You go sideways to down, right? So you go sideways to down, right? And then you find what? Support. Sideways to down, and you find support. Okay, this is looking pretty similar. And what happens here? You go up, right? You still don't clear it yet. You go up, you still don't clear it yet. You go up, you still don't clear it yet. And the very next candle, another halt candle, and you clear it. Very strong candle. Boom. So boom, a very strong candle. So this is where we are right now. Right? This is where we are. A very similar pattern. Very, very similar. And if let me go ahead and reiterate it, right? So sideways, not sideways, down, support. Down, support. Rebalance, right? Right here. Rebalance. And then you go sideways down, and then you go breakout. And then you go breakout. The exact same pattern. Look. I can't make this up. Look, you cannot make this up. You cannot make this up. It's the exact same pattern. Okay. So, boom. What happens next, right? That's probably what you're asking now. What happens next after you get this fake pattern? Because you're just making stuff up. Okay, I'm making stuff up. And maybe I am. Maybe I'm making stuff up. Okay. So, basically, what happens is, right? You end up going straight up, right? You just keep on grinding higher until you get to this green line. What is this green line? What does it represent, right? So you go straight up until you get to this green line. This will be around right here, okay? So let's make the vertical line. So around right here, you're going to go straight up. Why? Why are you going to go straight up? And why do you stop? Because let's draw an arrow, right? So from right here to right here, do you know what these are? This green line right here, this green line, this one right here, this line is exactly 7 days, or at least a week. It's 1 week, exactly 1 week before FOMC. So exactly 1 week before FOMC. Where is that? Exactly 1 week before FOMC is March 20th, which is right here. Let's go ahead and put it to March 20th. Let's make this red so you can see it. So red, and where we at right now, let's put that to blue. Boom, let's put that to blue right here. Boom. Okay, so yeah. So this is where we're at. Very similar. So, boom, right? So we go all the way up until this green right here, which is 1 week before FOMC. Same thing, what I'm watching for. We're just going to keep going up until FOMC. And then after we go all the way up, we top out right here. So if we end up topping out, like we did here, that's my confirmation. So if we end up topping out here, that's my confirmation. We might go down to sideways. Who knows? We might just go sideways, whatever. But what happened on this FOMC date? On this FOMC date, Jerome Powell says he pauses, right? This is where we actually get a pause. What happens here? What are we pricing in? We are pricing in a what? A pause, right? Jerome Powell says that he's not cutting rates for the March meeting, and they also said that they're not raising rates, right? So if they're not raising, they're not cutting, what are they going to do? They're pausing, okay? So if they're pausing here, then I believe that this is going to be your top, and you should be selling off, personally. So this is what I'm watching for, and this is what I think is going to happen. Now, I could be a crazy man with a tin foil cap on my head. Who knows, right? But this looks very, very similar. Like, these patterns here look very, very similar. Like, I can't make this up. I just can't make this up. This looks very, very similar. So again, that's what I'm watching for. I'm watching for what is this date? This date is the 13th of March. I believe the 13th of March, around that area, from the 13th of March to maybe, that week. I believe that we're going to see some weakness. Okay. That would be the top of the market. Now, I could be wrong. I could be completely 100% wrong. Who knows? But that is what I'm looking at. Until then, until FOMC, I'm not going to really get too aggressive in the market anyways, because straight up isn't a pattern. So that's what I'm looking for. Now, call me a fool, call me whatever you want to call me, but don't count me out, because I'm a pattern trader before anything else, and when I see patterns, I can't just ignore it. So this does seem very likely to happen. I'm not going to say it will, but if it does happen, I'm not going to sit here and say I told you so, but let's just make some money, okay? Anyways, that's all I really got to say. And just to add on, the same thing that happened with NQ happened with ES as well, where this is where we're at right now. This is what happens like the 1 week before FOMC. This happens FOMC, and then we sell. Okay? like look, I can't make this up. So who knows? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe we don't get that sell off. But if we do, we do. If we don't, we don't. Anyways, if you guys enjoyed the video, make sure you like, comment, subscribe if you're new. And let's run this channel up. I know I've been getting a lot of support, and I appreciate you guys. Make sure to join the Discord. That's down below in the description. And actually, let me go ahead and show you guys some levels that you guys could probably watch for your charts. It's right here. Let me go ahead and zoom it in. Very important levels. If you're above your February monthly close at around 18,072, you're good, and you should be targeting 18,800. Warning signs is below your February monthly close at 18,072, but you are above your January highs at 17,794, which is right over here. So if you're good if you're above this zone right here. And you are in a danger zone if you are like hovering in this zone right here, and you're in danger if you are hovering in this zone right here. Okay, so that's basically what you're watching. Same thing with ES. You are good if you're above this zone right here, this zone area. If you're above this zone area, you're good. If you're below, you're in a warning, so that's like around here. And if you're under this January high, you're not looking too good. So that's all you really want to be paying attention to, and that's really it. If you guys enjoyed the video, like, comment, subscribe if you're new, and yeah, make sure to join the Discord. That's down below in the description, the invitation. And with that being said, I'm out. It's your boy Go to Trades, and see you in the next one.